I reminisce about the love we had. I reminisce about the love we had. Tender moments seem to go so fast. Reminisce, reminisce. I reminisce about the love we had. I reminisce about the love we had. A love so strong it will never pass.
Love Park Connection.
Hey everybody.
Hey everybody.
How you guys doing today? So today we're going to talk about daddy issues.
Yeah, daddy issues.
Because I got some daddy issues.
Yeah, and I'm gonna shoot the questions and stuff at her.
And you going to talk about your daddy issues too, right?
No. So I'm gonna shoot the questions at her.
Okay, this is going to be an interesting one.
Nah, I'll bring up some things.
But before we get started, let us introduce ourselves. Welcome to Love Park Connection, where we talk about the pains and pleasures of life, love, and relationships. My name is Angela Parker.
And I'm Pierre Parker.
We are a husband and wife marriage and relationship coaching duo. We've been together for over 30 years, married 28 years, and it's our goal to help couples build healthy, peaceful, long-term marriages and relationships.
Peaceful. I like that. Just keyword peaceful.
Yeah. We want a peaceful relationship.
Peaceful. We don't want them wars.
No,
battles.
but please remember to like, share, and subscribe. He just went off on a tangent. Hit that notification bell. When you guys hit the like button, it helps the algorithms let folks know, hey, tune into this channel. So
Yes.
just stuttering all over the place today, huh?
All over the place.
I
It's
know,
all right.
I know.
That's all right. But you're still sexy though.
Oh,
Yeah, you
just
can
trying to get them.
stumble and all
All
that
them
stuff.
brownie points. Look at, I'm trying to get brownie.
points.
All right, baby. So let's get started on this.
Yeah, daddy issues.
So why did you decide you want to do daddy issues?
Because
Out of all the topics we have, you
we had
decide
a whole list of topics, and that one stood out.
that one stood out. Okay.
That one stood out because I think it's an important topic. I think it affects a lot of couples and
Yeah.
things like that, especially with the women in the relationship.
Yeah.
That's a lot of times when people say daddy issues, they gear it towards
women.
The women.
Just
But,
like we got mama's boys.
yeah, you got mama's
We got to do
boys
one on
and
mama
mama's,
boys.
Mama's issues and all
No,
those
mama's
things.
boys. That's what they're called. Not mommy.
Okay.
Or I guess they say mommy issues,
Mommy
but
issues.
we usually hear mama's boys.
Yeah. I mean, and then it's not saying that men don't have daddy issues too.
Yeah. But you're right. When you say daddy issues, you're usually talking about the ladies.
Yeah.
Okay.
ladies,
Well,
and
let's get started.
and that could be a bad thing at some time. That could be one of them battles.
Them battles.
One of them battles. One of them battles. But okay, so with the daddy issues.
Wait a minute, who said I had? No, I'm just kidding. I got daddy issues. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead, baby. Go ahead.
And that's why we're bringing it up, because I know we're speaking. This is something you can actually relate to.
Yeah.
Not saying that you had a very what is it?
Tumultuous.
Tumultuous. There you go.
No.
Tumultuous. Not saying that you had a relationship like that with your dad, but there was some times, and your dad. We know how your dad was. Your dad was a special character.
He was the silent generation in every sense of the word. And yeah, that's where a lot of my being able to communicate and be open to talking came into play. Why it was such a struggle for me to talk and
Look, she can't even get it
to
out.
talk and communicate.
Oh, okay. Look, she might be having tears before this one.
No, I'm not. I'm good. I've had some therapy and I've gotten past my daddy issues. So. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I keep interrupting. Go ahead, baby. What are your questions?
No, it's all good, because I remember, it's always interesting listening to you and your sister always talk about, your dad and stuff. So, and I never got a chance to really develop a relationship with him.
No, he would have loved you.
Oh yeah.
He would have loved you, and we can't repeat the reason why.
Oh yeah.
Well, because, like I said, if anybody knows anything about the silent generation, and or anybody was raised by a silent generation parent, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So unfortunately, he passed before he and I could actually develop a good relationship.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But anyway. So with having these issues, how do you feel that they actually affected you?
Well, like I said, one of the main things that really was hard for me. So my father was a big guy. He was like 6'5". I'm only 5'3". So he was a big guy, and he had a very boisterous voice. So it's not like, like I said, the silent generation didn't have no problems with whooping that ass. He didn't do that with us, with me or my sister. Well, let me speak only for myself, because my sister is 15 years my junior. So I wasn't really around when she was being raised, because we're so far apart in age. So because he had such a boisterous voice, he had a tendency to yell a lot. Even if he was talking normally, it was loud. Oh, it was so loud. So so with that all that yelling and loud talking, it was very intimidating to talk as a young girl, a teenager, even into my early 20s. It was hard to really feel comfortable talking and feeling like I'm going to be heard, because he really didn't. It was the generation of be seen and not heard. So that really kind of impacted how I related to, in particular, relationships. I wouldn't say what was on my mind, because that fear of being yelled at and the fear of being, just talked down to. So that really impacted how I communicated. And then so when you and I started, dating and so forth, and eventually got married, that same fear was brought into our relationship, where even though you're not a loud talker,
I am not loud.
No, he's total
like that.
opposite of my father. Some people say, well, most girls marry their daddies. I didn't. Total opposite. But it's still, that fear was still there, because I hadn't gotten past that. So like I said, that's why I had to do some therapy. And it still took, even after the therapy, it still took time for me to come into my own and say, you know what, I'm going to say what I have to say. And again, and we've talked about this before, with your help, you also encouraged me and gave me you made it easy, or you made it safe. That's the word I'm looking for me to speak my truth. I mean, there's still some things where I'm like, I really don't feel like talking about it. Because it used to be, remember I used to say talking is exhausting? Because I would have to talk, if I had the courage to talk to my father or have a real conversation with him, it was exhausting, because I felt like I was never being heard, or he would talk over me. So that's one of the main, the really big things that stands out when it comes to my daddy issues and how that affected me going into our relationship. I think the other one that kind of was hard, and he always talked about money, money, money. He pretended that he had more than he had. So he was, and again, that could come because of the generation he was in, that it was about, flaunting and pretending you have more than you do. And that impacted how I viewed money. And it's still a struggle for me sometimes. I don't view it, I guess, for me, as you know, I really don't worry about, okay, where's the money coming from? and
No,
thankfully,
that's my job.
but thankfully, I mean, thankfully with that attitude, we've never gone without. We've never really had to worry about anything. But my father's view on money has impacted, or impacted how I view money. Now I don't know if that's good or bad, but it is what it is.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because that generation, because my dad is of that generation as well, and I have some friends whose parents are of that generation, and it's interesting how they place so much value on money.
They did.
To this day, my dad is like, yeah, I went to the store and I had to pay, $40 for some groceries, just all that stuff, and then I had to pay, $15 for this and this, and I'm like, Dad,
He does.
I don't need to know how much you pay for all this stuff. I don't need. Well, I'm just saying. That's his best, his favorite phrase. I'm just saying. I'm like, I don't need to know all of that. Just, did you get what you needed to get? Yeah, I did.
Right.
So, that's another thing about that is I watched like my dad, my uncles, and all them who are of that generation place value on certain things. Like my dad and them, they were very big on their cars, and I never understood that until I got older. And and that their cars, like they were big about having Cadillacs.
Oh yeah,
big. And to them in that generation, and it took me a minute to understand it, but to them having a Cadillac was like
a status symbol,
a serious status symbol for a black man.
Right.
Because for so long they saw white men, as they were coming up and struggling, they saw white men with these cars.
Right.
And, so they were like, when I get older, I'm going to give me a Cadillac.
Right.
I'm going to get my Cadillac. So that was a status thing to them. So, yeah, the money whole situation, they look at that as a, they hold on to their stuff.
They hold on to that, exactly.
Yeah.
And sorry, y'all, if you hear scratching and meowing, that's our cat trying to get in here. So
yeah,
I don't know if you guys hear, but if you do, I apologize. We apologize. So.
Yeah. Well, she wanted to be a part of this podcast.
She did.
She got daddy issues too. So.
Oh, she got issues with you?
She had issues with me. But yeah, that's it's interesting that you say that. Do you feel that there was any other aspects or any other things that because people would want to know, well, was there any type of abuse or anything like that?
No, there was no. Well, let me back up.
Physical abuse, because we know mental abuse can
Right, but you know what? Again, coming from a different generation, I didn't look at it and still don't look at it as abuse. Some people in the Gen Zs and millennials might look at it as abuse, but I didn't look at it as abuse. And even to this day, it was what it was. That's just the way we were brought up.
Yeah.
And so I didn't look at it as abuse. I looked at it as that's just who my dad is, for better or for worse. That's who he is. But no, there was never any physical abuse. It was, I would say, if we're going to categorize it, it was probably more mental abuse.
Yeah.
And verbal abuse. But no, I wouldn't, I don't look at it as abuse.
Yeah.
I just look at it as that's the way we were brought up. And there's some things I had to, get past. But he also made me with the way we were brought up, or the way, because I have two brothers. Well, one now, one passed. But I have, I had two older brothers, and then there was me, and then my sister, like I said, who's 15 years my junior. So she was, of course, brought up as quote unquote an only child because she lived in another state. But I just viewed it as, and even see it today as, it kind of made me stronger. Because I had to learn how to speak find my voice. I don't feel that it really hindered me in any way, except at times, it was frustrating because I wanted to not be afraid to talk.
Yeah.
But I think it also gave me the courage to say, I need to get past this, and it helped me grow. And to me, that's, you take what you considered as quote unquote bad or a struggle, and if you can learn from it and grow from it, to me that makes you stronger. So in essence, I look at my father as he actually made me a stronger woman, because I had to go through that trial, and I had to go through learning to be more vocal in our relationship, and just in relationships in general, because there was a lot of, with his second wife, there was a lot of arguing, there was a lot of tension, and their arguments would last sometimes a week, and that also helped me learn that, I need to pick my battles, because I don't want to be like my stepmom and my dad, and I'm constantly arguing with you, and we have these big ass battles. I don't want to do that. So that also taught me that that's not what I want in my marriage. So again, I learned from that, and some people, it might be the opposite. Some people might say, or some people, their relationships might be always in turmoil. But for me, it was just the opposite. I was like, that's not what I want in our marriage. Yeah.
Do you feel that before me, do you feel that had judgment or that kind of, did you use that? Did any of that come along with, like, when you were picking men in the past to be in a relationship? Did any of that have an effect on how you picked a person, a guy?
I think it wasn't like there was a whole lot between,
Girl, stop it, girl. You was just, you was just. Nah, I'm just playing.
see, y'all. Somebody come get him.
She was fine, still fine, but she was fine back then. So I know she just,
I dated, but it wasn't like I dated a whole lot. So did it impact my other relationships? I would say, yeah, it did. It impacted. I think.
Did it impact them, like, in picking? So did you, like, purposely try to pick someone that wasn't along that way? Or
I had an eclectic taste in men before you came along. So it wasn't like there was one particular type of personality that I picked. Yeah. But I think at that time, prior to us getting together, I didn't stay with him too long. I was like, okay, if I got tired of it. And that's why I always laugh, because you were the only one that I was like, I didn't get tired of you, but if I got tired of him, I just would go, okay, time to go. Kick you to the curb.
They didn't have no Texas then, so you couldn't be like, yeah, I'm done with you.
Right, right.
You had to get on that phone with the long cord.
Or you just ignored their calls when they called you.
You did the primitive ghosting.
Yes.
Ghosting.
Yes. But no, I don't think at that time, because I wasn't thinking about marriage, that I specifically chose men that were nothing like my father or like my father. Oh, okay. I didn't. But when I started getting a little older and you and I started dating and I started thinking about marriage, well, even before you came along, before we started dating, when I started figuring, okay, you know what, I do kind of want to settle down at some point. Then that's when I guess I started thinking, okay, do I really want someone that's like my father? And clearly I didn't. Yeah. I think the only thing y'all have in common is you're both light-skinned. Light-skinned.
Well, let me paint the picture of what her dad looks like. If you take Uncle Phil from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air,
you used to say that.
You mixed him with Fred Hammond.
Oh my God.
And you sprinkle a little bit of Heavy D in there.
Oh my.
And you mix it up. You got her dad.
But what's funny is if you see because he was in the Korean War, if you see an old picture of him, you swear he was half Korean or have you. I have to find that picture. I have to see if I can find that picture. When you see it, you'll be like, because he could have passed for a big ass sumo wrestler back in the day.
That's crazy.
But I'll have to see if David has that picture, because it's a military picture of him.
Now that's funny because Uncle Phil, Heavy D, Fred Hammond don't look like sumo wrestlers.
No, but I'm just saying because his eyes.
You said Samoan. I said sumo. Oops.
No, because his eyes were very. I mean, like I said, I'll have to show you the picture.
Okay,
I mean, I just can't
picture.
explain. But I for a long time thinking I asked my brother. I said, "Is our dad mixed with Asian? Is he Asian and black or something like that?" And he's not. He's not. My dad is not. He's black and white, definitely just right down the middle.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
That's hilarious. Yeah, when I first met him, I'm gonna tell you this funny story. When I first met him, she had moved to North Carolina to go to school. I flew out there, and she was living with her dad and her stepmom. And so I flew out there, so we go to dinner at this Mexican restaurant out there. So I'm like, okay, look.
yeah.
So we go to dinner, and, we're sitting across the table. We're all at the table. So he's talking, and of course he was loud, just normally talking.
And my stepmother would always say, "Chuck, lower your voice. I'm not talking loud." I'm like,
so the waiter comes, and the waiter takes our orders and all that stuff. So he said something to my father-in-law, and then whatever he said, I guess my father-in-law didn't really care for it. So next thing I know, he's jumping up. Hey, I said blah 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 blah, and now he's jumping all loud and going at it with the waiter, and just verbally beating the waiter down. And the look on Angela's face was like, "Oh my God, I done lost a good man. He ain't never gonna come back."
I didn't think he would. I didn't think you would.
And to me, I told her later on, she was apologizing. She was like, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." I said, "You know what?" I said, "That didn't bother me at all." I said, "I could have sworn my dad jumped up and was right there doing all that, because that's exactly what my dad would have done." So yeah, so she was pretty happy to hear that part.
Yeah, that he decided to stick around. So
Yeah.
Any other questions? Because I like to know also for you, how your
Daddy issues.
daddy issues has impacted you. I mean,
I can talk about my daddy issues, which I don't really. I don't know if I could say daddy issues, because.
But y'all have been butting heads.
We butt heads, yeah. We butt heads, but.
And there's some things about him that you're like, "Oh no, it ain't gonna be me." But even though you're turning into him, excuse me.
I'm not turning into
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
But no, we've had our issues and things like that, and that's just, a lot of it also was just, out of me being a teenager and coming of age, and him being, a man, and how a boy challenges a man when he gets old, as he gets older, start feeling himself. But with him being of the silent generation, they don't play.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I was feeling myself. But there was times when, it was things like with the silent generation, and this is with my dad. Growing up, he never told me that he was proud of me.
Yeah.
So, and
same here. Yeah.
Never told me he was proud of me until I became an adult.
Right.
He didn't tell me he was proud of me actually until my mother passed away. My mom passed away in 98. And that was, I was a grown ass man by then.
Right. We were married by then.
Yeah, we was married. I had a family, and I'm, raising my family. So he didn't tell me he was proud of me until then. And I never knew how that actually affected me growing up.
Yeah.
That you want to hear your father, that your father's proud of you.
Right.
You do things to try to make your father proud of you. And you're trying to get that information or whatever,
Right.
You're trying to get that from him, and he's just like, whatever. Okay, yeah, good. good, you
right,
know.
right.
He wouldn't say whatever, but he just be like, okay, yeah, okay. And whatever, you know, it didn't matter if I was playing basketball, if I was, you know, playing music and all this stuff. I was doing music all this time, you know, when I was a kid, and I'm looking for that.
Yeah, you're
You know,
looking for that. Yeah.
Yeah, for that, and he wouldn't tell me.
Yeah.
He just wouldn't tell me. My mom would be all the time. My mom
yeah.
was like, you know, sometimes my mom was embarrassing at some of my gigs. I'm out there playing, and she in the background, and all I hear is, "That's my baby! That's my baby!" And I'm like, that's my mama. But nah, my dad, he was more chill on that stuff. He didn't show that. But like I said, when I got older, and he got older, then he started saying, and he started saying a lot more. But it actually took one of my godfathers to actually tell me that, you know, before my dad had told me that at the funeral that he was proud of me. But it actually took one of my godfathers to tell me before that, you know, your dad is proud of you. He's very proud of you. He just ain't said it.
Right.
And
But the
I'm
one
like,
thing that with him not saying that to you all those years, you constantly said that to the kids, though.
Yeah, because I told myself, I'm not going to do our kids like that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to tell them as much as I can that I'm proud of you, that I love you. My
Right.
dad never said he loved me back in the day.
Oh,
you know, so, I mean, that, like I said, that's that generation. That generation was hard like that. They had their way of showing love.
right.
You know.
Yeah.
But they're just not going to come out and tell you, I love you, son.
I think my father's way of telling me he loved me was to always buy me things. And,
Yeah,
you know,
that's what they did.
yeah, to buy you things and, you know, to you know, yeah, it was more materialistic.
Yeah. And that's how you had to, you know, you kind of had to read that. But as a young kid, you know, you don't understand
You
that.
don't understand.
Now that I'm older, I understand it.
Right.
You know, that's just their generation. Their generation was just, you know, they were hard like that. They were hard working. They, you know, they went through a lot of shit, you know, a hell of a lot of shit. And, you know, they struggled to make sure that we didn't have to.
Right.
So that's why the money thing is important to them. Mm-hmm. You know, all of that stuff. You don't embarrass them. You don't embarrass them.
No.
But yeah, that's that. And like I said, that helped me to when I had the kids. You know, when the kids came along, you know, I was probably too much. You know, proud of you, son. Proud of you, baby girl. I'm proud of you. Love you. Exactly. Love you. Come here. Dad, stop. You know.
Yeah.
So, but that's how my daddy issues affected me. You know.
A lot of daddy issues, huh?
You know, not a lot. No? I don't think. I mean, I'm trying to think if there's any other ways. Not daddy issues. I mean, I don't think it would be a daddy issue, but that's probably one of the reasons why I probably work too much or work too hard, and you know.
Yeah.
And
no, I wouldn't say that's a daddy issue. You just, you know, you saw what you saw, and you saw how your father worked, you know, very hard, you know, and then that's just who you've become, because that's, you know, what he instilled in you. So now that's definitely not an issue. No. Okay. So, any other questions before we head on out?
Dang, this is a short one. She's trying
to
wrap it up. She's trying to get that.
We don't want to make this an hour long.
No, we don't.
We try and keep them, you know.
See, so look, the one when I'm doing all the talking, I'm doing most of the interview. Well, I ain't doing all the talking because you're talking, but I'm doing the interviewing. I'm asking the questions.
You're asking the questions
and all of this stuff. You know, what would you say to some young ladies out there who have some
daddy issues?
Who got some daddy? Because there's a lot of them out there that have daddy issues, and there's a lot of them that have them in different ways.
I would just say if it's something that's hindering your relationship or causing conflict or problems in your relationship, you got to seek some kind of therapy. And again, I always say whether it's coaching, whether it's actual, you know, therapy, because sometimes if it goes really deep and it's really causing a problem in your life, not just your relationship, but in your life, then you need to seek serious therapy. Because I did coaching and I did therapy to try and, move past my daddy issues. And also, if you have a partner or a spouse that is willing to help you or trying to, whatever your issues are, trying to help you through those issues, accept that help, work on it, but the first thing that needs to be done is you do have to acknowledge that, yeah, shit, I got some issues. I got some daddy issues that I need to work through. Don't just push them all down and pack them away and, think that I'll get over and I'll be fine, because you won't. And you don't realize how much those issues can impact you until you start really working through them. Sometimes you got to sit with that pain, and you got to sit with those issues, get the therapy and move past it. So so you can have a fulfilling life and, a relationship. So that would really be, some of the things I would say. Just if you have them, acknowledge them, get therapy, get coaching. If you have a spouse who is willing to help you and work through these issues, then take that person up on that help.
Yeah.
So, that's what I would say.
That was good.
Okay, cool.
Tell these youngsters, and yes, we have to. Our new generation.
Why you always go there?
Because
we're not going there.
We're not saying that the new generation need to be, like the silent generation. Yeah, but you gotta have that sprinkle in there. There
has to be a balance.
Has to be that balance.
There has to be a balance, because I know some, the millennials and the Gen Zs might think the Gen X's are, and what they call this, the feral group.
Is that what the feral group?
Well, because we were the first generation of latchkey kids.
Okay.
So we were the first generation. We were the generation that they kicked you out the house in the morning on Saturdays and don't come home until the street lights come on.
You go outside and go play.
You don't have a cell phone, so we were that generation that we were the wildlings.
The wildlings.
But we were also that generation that knew how to do a lot of stuff.
Exactly.
Plus, we started learning on the computers. We were the first generation with computers. So
yeah, we the generation that's like, we're the perfect generation that's right in the middle.
Oh, don't say See, you can't say that. Like, we gonna get some kind. But you mean you the perfect generation?
Perfect generation. I'll say it perfect, because we right in the middle. We're
on that fence, huh?
We were there before there was computers.
Right.
So we know how to work a rotary phone.
Write a check.
They're
like, what's a check?
I know, write a check. We know how to write cursive.
Yeah.
That's a lost start. We know how to do all that stuff. And we know how to work the technology and all that stuff as well, because we were there on the cutting edge. Cutting. Matter of fact, it might have been, I think it was probably our generation that created some of this technology.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why I say perfect, because not that we're much better as far as, I say we are, but whatever. But
no, we're not. We're crazy.
But what I'm saying is, we were there before all of this technology. And we're here while it's there, while it's still going and getting and growing. Yeah. So that's what I mean. We can, if all electricity cut off right now and all of that stuff, our generation would still be cool and can still do with, without all that stuff, because we didn't have it growing up.
Yeah. That's
what I'm meaning.
And we didn't there was no such thing as going to therapy and having medication for ADHD and ADD and all that.
Ooh, can you imagine going to my dad or your dad and going, Dad,
I need therapy.
I got depression. I'm anxious. I got anxiety. They'd be like, if you don't get your ass outside and go play, or I'll give you something to have some anxiety for.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't want to hear that bullshit. Get your ass out there and go do the yard. Go do whatever.
That's true.
You know, we couldn't do that.
No, we couldn't. We had to work through it, and
Yeah.
not to say that was the best option, but it was what it was, and we dealt with it. And now we're going through therapy as we got older. But hey, it is what it is.
Now we're
I
going
mean,
to therapy.
it is what it is.
But I mean that, you know, and I know this is getting off topic, but that's where, you know, it gets into the whole bullying thing and all that. And like we've said before, you know.
Oh, I got bullied.
Yeah, but that's just it. Nowadays they're trying to stop bullying and all of these different things. And I understand that, yeah, sometimes it can go overboard. But if you don't let that child go through that, which is a natural part of life, it's in the animal kingdom, it's all over. There's all kind of bullying. That person has to be able to deal with it.
Right.
Because when it comes to real life, once that child grows up and he gets in a job where there's a boss that's
A bully, yeah.
a bully and an asshole, and they can't deal with it, all of a sudden I got anxiety, I'm depressed.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
We got way off topic.
We off topic. Look, I started to get on one of my boxes.
He started to get on one. I'm gonna reel him back in. Because he about to go off on his soapbox. And we're not trying to say.
No, let me push that box back in
We're
that
not trying to
warehouse over
say that there's anything wrong with, you know, anxiety or depression.
No.
Seek help.
Seek help.
But
Seek help.
we're just saying from our generation that
yes.
saying that wasn't an option. You know, that was not an option. So that's all we're saying. I have to kind of reel him in sometimes, people. I'm sorry.
And then we just take that and we just bring it all the way back down to daddy issues.
Right. It's right. Daddy issues. Anyway, y'all. Thank you so much. Anything else, baby? Before we head on out? Because I need some breakfast.
See, I always got to feed this woman.
Yes, he does. You made some oatmeal and didn't even make me no oatmeal. So,
But you didn't. Okay.
Anyway, y'all, thank you so much for joining us. Please remember to like, share, subscribe.
Yes.
Remember, my book, 30 Years and Counting, is out. You can get it on my website, our website. It's our website. I know. That's because my friend built it.
It's all good.
Please remember, again, you can get my book, 30 Years and Counting, at loveparkconnection.com. The information will be in the description. And again, please remember, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. So when we put out content, which we put out every week, one day we're going to go live, but you'll be notified.
Yeah.
We're working on going live because we haven't crossed that. Crossed that.
Are we sure we want to go live?
Yes, we're going to go live one day.
Then we'll see all the bloopers. Oh, that's another thing. We're going to put out a whole thing where it's just all our bloopers that we did before we actually. And I know you guys are probably always wondering why we're laughing when we start out these things. It's because of some of the things that are in these bloopers that you will see.
That happened before we start recording.
When we do a little test and stuff like that. So that'll be out soon.
Yeah, we'll do that. Anyway, thank you again, you guys, and we hope you have a wonderful day.
Yep.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.